Right. Seem to have found a piece of peace and quiet amongst the chaos coming from yonder. I wanted to talk a bit about authenticity and what that means, maybe in life or as an artist in general, and the difficulties that you can face trying to be authentic. I should maybe don my lucky charm. This is not a planned conversation. Hopefully this will help stir luck in my favor. So I guess the first thing to tackle is, what does it mean to be authentic? What is authenticity? I guess authenticity is being unique in a sense, but not just unique for the sake of being different, but unique with not a deliberate adherence to a mode of being, but a necessary adherence to a fundamental kind of uniqueness, if that makes sense. To be authentic to yourself is to do, I feel, what your soul prescribes of you, what your soul tells you to do. And as creatures that like to live in community, in society, as communal beings, so to speak, it's very difficult to go down a totally different path. It's a lot easier in terms of social stability to do what everybody else does, to think how everybody else does, to dress how everybody else does. And when we take divergent paths, that can be very difficult. And starting on the path is one step of the journey. But maintaining course, sticking to the path, when all these other people are over here doing their thing, sort of going, what's going on over there? And at the end of the day, they're all going to the same place. And everybody knows where that place is, because hundreds of millions, if not billions of people have done that path. They've done that journey, gotten to the end, and we know what's to show for it. Whereas we have a whole infinite number of other routes. And only one of those routes will be entirely, or I guess individually tailored to you. Only you will be able to walk that route. And if you don't, nobody else ever will. And so from that, I suppose, authenticity breeds a kind of loneliness, isolation, which I suppose could breed contempt. Contempt for the people that are able to comfortably stick to a predetermined path. And I think that's the hardest part of trying to stick to an authentic route, an authentic modus operandi. Is feeling so different from everything else around you. And even the other people taking their own authentic path will recognize the authenticity. But because there's so much divergence there in how the life is lived, in certain perspectives and personality attributes, it can still be quite isolating, even amongst very like-minded people that search for authenticity. And as well in groups that claim authenticity, there will be a number of individuals that only make half the journey and will then be, what's an appropriate word here? They will be jealous of somebody that's still trying to go further down the path to find something of real value. And so when we come to the topic of authenticity, how do you be truly authentic amongst all of the fear and all of the isolation that it might bring? And I guess that's only for the individual. To be truly authentic, you have to be authentic. It's such a difficult idea to tackle. But I think it's the sort of thing you know in your heart and in your soul when you are being truly yourself. And I think other people who attempt the same process can also recognize that. And I wouldn't say it's something very tangible. I guess the real word on the tip of my tongue is originality, to be original. And how do you be original in a world totally engulfed with influence? How do you be original without incorporating ideas from other places? I think it's impossible. I think therein lies the root of individuality, is doing something that has been done many times. Doing it in a way that exposes something new. Doing it in a way that encourages a different perspective. And now I've totally forgotten the original topic of discussion because this word originality has cemented itself. Ironically, that's maybe not an original thought. I think the biggest indicator that you are being original to yourself, from yourself, is something that you create doesn't feel comfortable. It doesn't feel like something that you should be doing. Everything about what you're doing and how you're doing it just says, this is wrong. I've had a couple of paintings like that where I spend hours just staring and thinking, why don't I like this? What is it about this that I don't like? And I that maybe speaks more about my own relationship with myself as opposed to a broad objective view of originality, authenticity. I think they're very much interlinked. I seem to have lost my train of thought. Choo choo. Where do those tracks go? Nobody knows. Yeah, I totally lost it. Shit, man. What was I fucking talking about? Originality. Choo choo trains. God, time for bed, I think. Oh yeah, I think it's more my anxiety and fear behind doing something that is original to me is more reflective of how I feel about myself. In other words, I don't feel comfortable being myself. So when I see that on a canvas, it feels weird, it feels odd, right? And if you're anything like me and you find it very difficult to sort of be the same person in front of people as you are by yourself or with people that you love and trust, then perhaps you see the same thing in your work. I know recently, as I've been endeavoring into more I guess fearless content, making paintings that I'm not necessarily happy with, that seems to be what sells. Some people, other people from outside of this perspective can see that and think, ooh, without all of this guffing away, and just think, wow, I like that. And that's all it is, just an emotional response to something that you've got this whole intellectualization, this whole narrative in your head telling you that it's not good, or is, it could be improved here, or, it's not worth anything. Whereas a total outsider doesn't see the story leading up to that, they just see the finished piece. And that's what matters, is that emotional response.